Well, well, well. Yes, sir. Roderick, what's going on? He said, let's get it on. How about them boys? Hey, we about to talk about it. Yes, sir. Jared, what's going on? The Dallas Cowboys will get back to being one of the better teams in the league. Same with Dak Prescott. I still believe in Dak Prescott. Oh, this team is going to be fantastic this year. Welcome, 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 Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I am the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, and we talk facts. What y'all got going on today for Valentine's Day? Any of y'all taking out your significant others? Dak owns filthy. What's going on? Hey, man, I got a story about the Philadelphia Eagles. Kind of capitalizing on what we talked about yesterday. Oh, man, Dak owns filthy. Yeah, we got a story. Brandy, what's going on? Yeah, we have a story tonight about these Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles in the beginning, but it's not what most people think. We're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, but we're going to really talk about the finalization, finally, of the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. I am so glad they got this coaching staff finished. Everyone keeps talking way too much. Way too much about the Cowboys and this and that, and let's just pump the brakes. Cowboys, to me, with all the talking that everyone's doing, the Cowboys are doing exactly what they are supposed to be doing. They're doing it. I'm laughing, and we need to be careful. Brandy says, Micah, I love you, but you need to learn what and what not to say. And Micah Parsons is adding to the paranoia. People are writing stories and saying things like, Micah Parsons is putting pressure on the front office. No, he's not. Please, people, don't fall for this. This media is dumb that we're dealing with. The 3 and 4 letter networks are dumb. We've all known the Dallas Cowboys longer than this media has. And one thing we know as Dallas Cowboy fans, Micah Parsons is not putting pressure on the Joneses. He's not. No, they're going to do what they're going to do. And I think they've already made their mind up. They've made their mind up that Brian Schottenheimer is going to be successful. And they've made their mind up that they're finally going to put a team around Dak Prescott. And I mean what we're going to call a team. Not what we all are going to disagree on or agree on. No, they're going to put a team around Dak Prescott. Let's all be patient. And I'm ready to I'm just going to watch and see what they do. They wrote the check. Now they're going to have to cash it. Miss Matrix in the crib. She said Dak pretty much said he's not worried about the Eagles. He normally beats up on them, so they are not the road. So they are not the road to the Super Bowl. How hard is that for folks to understand? Sounded good to me. See, people do not understand. The Eagles at the beginning of this season had no clue they were going to be in the Super Bowl. The Washington Commanders, they probably thought they were going to be pretty good. They did not know they were going to be 12-5. They just didn't know that. They didn't know they were going to be in the NFC Championship game. And so the funny thing is, people don't understand. It only takes a couple of moves. Philly made a couple of more moves this offseason. And then, watch this, you also need some luck. Getting to the Super Bowl isn't just pure skill. You also need some luck. Sometimes you need some teams to start getting hurt. I wonder how much it benefited the Philadelphia Eagles that the Detroit Lions' entire defense was decimated. I wonder how much that helped a whole lot of teams in the NFC. I wonder if that Detroit Lions team plays a whole lot different if their defense wasn't decimated against the Rams. See, you need some luck too. Jaden Daniels. I mean, who knew? Who knew? Who knew, for example, when they played the Philadelphia Eagles, that Jalen Hurts was going to go out with a concussion? Who knew? You never know how the season plays out. It's a battle of attrition. And what happens is, a lot of times, the team that is the most healthiest in the end, more times than not, the team that is the most healthiest and the best wins. The best team that is healthy wins. Because you'll notice there have been years where people had a Super Bowl favorite and they got decimated by injuries. Happens all the time. Because anybody who will tell you they knew the Philadelphia Eagles were going to go to the Super Bowl, I didn't say that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that until they got to the end. I didn't know that until the end because I realized they were the most healthiest. Detroit was decimated. The same thing that happened to the Cowboys. Do we not realize that we had a team that was decimated with injuries that was still hanging in with some of these teams towards the end? Even with all the things we had going on in the front office, all the things we had going on between the coach and the front office, all of the things that we complained about all year long, Cowboys could have still been in it just like they were the previous 3 years. So what Dak Prescott said, these people don't understand. It actually wasn't far-fetched. It wasn't far-fetched. You need some luck too. You need some luck. You do. You need to stay healthy. You need some luck. And you need a team. And when you get all three of those things happening, man, you may find yourself in the Super Bowl. I mean, the Washington Commanders almost found themselves in the Super Bowl. The Buffalo Bills almost found themselves in the Super Bowl. You just never know. So what Dak Prescott said was definitely not far-fetched. Definitely wasn't far-fetched. Jerry said, why did it seem like the Eagles fan were just interested in throwing shade at Dallas than celebrating their own win? Is this a rent-free situation? Well, we have to understand. They have a vendetta against the Cowboys because the Cowboys have owned the NFC East. I mean, the entire NFC East, Jared. I mean, they're so glad. I saw somebody today, someone was talking about the Washington Commanders, and I saw someone in the comments saying, I hope Jared keeps doing what he's doing. They love the demise of the Cowboys. Why? Because we've owned them. I mean, we've owned them. That's why. Let me get some greetings in, and then I want to go to this story. I got to get off here about 8:30. I got to, I'm not really a Valentine's person, but I did get my wife a couple of things that I want to see her reaction. I hope you guys got your wives or husbands. Ladies, you can get your husband something for Valentine's Day if you're into that kind of stuff. I'm not really into days, but it don't matter what the day is. Ladies, you can get your husband something too, right? Amen. You can get your husband something too. But again, let me do some greetings here. Delta Roots, Shalom. What's going on? Suge, I love that name, Suge Midnight. What up, G? What up, Suge Midnight? Richard Owens, what's going on with you, man? Good to see you tonight. True Cowboy, good to see you. Play Action is going to show up and show out. Man, they get that Play Action working back in Dallas. True Cowboy, it's over. What's going on, Kevin Howard? Good to see you. Sheldon Johnson, what's going on? Good to see you. Big C. Big C from Tennessee. What's going on with your fam? Richard Villegas, what's going on? Good to see you. Brandy Mahoney says, single out here. Okay. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. You get to save money around this time of the year. You get to save a whole lot of money. I want to jump into this first story. I find it to be so ironic. We were having a conversation just last night about them asking CeeDee Lamb about the Philadelphia Eagle fans. And they were asking him which fan base is more passionate. And he said, I don't want to get myself in trouble. And I think he said, I don't want to get myself in trouble, say something crazy. He said, but the Eagles fans got it. But I noticed he mentioned the word crazy. Well, let me let you feast your eyes on this. The Philadelphia Eagles, 2 people shot during Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl 59 parade celebration. Sad. Supposed to be celebrating winning the Super Bowl. And somebody gets shot. 2 women. It says 2 women were shot along Philadelphia's Benjamin Franklin Parkway on Friday as crowds gathered to celebrate the Super Bowl 59 victory parade. It's unclear at this time what led to the shooting, but it seems no one in the crowd heard the shots. Police said the women, a 27-year-old and a 20-year-old, showed up at the medic tent at 23rd and Spring Garden Streets for treatment. The 27-year-old was shot in her left leg and the 20-year-old was shot in her upper left thigh. Police said in a release Friday after the parade they are both in stable condition. Chopper 3 was over the area where shooting happened Friday afternoon. No arrests were made and no weapons were recovered. This is an ongoing investigation. I'm really interested to see what happens with this story. I mean, this kind of stuff should not be happening at these Super Bowl parades. I do think people need to understand at the end of the day, this is sports. And I mean, you know what? I can be passionate with the best of them, but I don't think nobody should be bringing out guns. Nobody should be bringing out guns. But this seems to be what has happened. We'll see what they come up with, but these 2 ladies were shot. Sheldon Johnson, same thing happened in Kansas City last year. They may start canceling these events. You're right. I mean, this is craziness. This is craziness. It's like people come to these events, and people. I'm always very wary when people talk about passion, because sometimes passion, people aren't focused. I've never liked when people would say the passion of the Christ, because Christ was not passionate as much as he was focused. Focused, knowing what he was going to do and knowing how to navigate, making sure he didn't get, taken earlier than God wanted him to be taken. He navigated and did things the right way. And when I hear people say things like passion, I'm always a little bit wary about that, because people sometimes, when they're passionate about things, they'll commit acts of violence. So I'm always wary about those things. And I do think the Dallas Cowboy fans are very passionate, but I also think we are a very focused fan base. I think the majority of us are a very focused fan base. We're not like some of these organizations, these fan bases, these sports organizations, to where we know what success looks like. I mean, even though it's been about to be 30 years, we know what success looks like. The thing that drives us is that we know what it looks like. And I'm wanting us to let some of our younger generation see what it looks like too, so that we don't lose our younger generation going forward. But this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy that when a city wants to come out and celebrate, somebody got to start bringing out guns, or they got to start committing acts of violence. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. Guys, I love sports. But we got to understand, it's sports. It's not just sports. It's entertainment. Let us be entertained by the sports. We can agree to disagree. It's sports. We can agree to disagree on things like sports. And never want to get vendettas against each other to where it turns into violence. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. So, that question that they were asking CeeDee Lamb the other day, man, this kind of stuff kind of rings in my ear when I see this stuff. Sometimes people take these things way too far. They take these things way too far. Angie, the Rebel Chicks, what's going on? I mean, people take a lot of this stuff too far. Brandy Mahoney, they're in the right to celebrate because they won, but at the same time, I think people are getting ahead of themselves. Dallas won't be this injured again. Oh, no. Dallas will be ready next year. I released a video earlier because, and I'm going to see if I can go back and listen to Troy Aikman again today. I did a video about Troy Aikman, but Troy Aikman said something in the video. Troy Aikman said he don't think the Philadelphia Eagles, he said that the Philadelphia Eagles will be better. I'm like, I'm not saying the Philadelphia can't get better. I just think, has anybody ever heard of diminishing returns? Diminishing returns is something that you truly have to study. You think about the fact, let's say you don't have a car, right? You don't have a car. And so you get, you need a way to get around. So you get a bicycle. The bicycle is getting you from A to B, but the problem is with the bicycle, it doesn't get you from A to B maybe as quick as you want to. So you have to leave always extra early. If it's raining outside or some of those things, you might not be able to get to work. So then you turn around and you buy yourself a nice car. You get your nice car, maybe you get you something like a Honda or something like that. You get yourself a nice car. Maybe you come into a little bit of money, and now you want to buy yourself a nicer car. So you say, maybe I want to step up to a Mercedes-Benz. Well, now you're going to have to understand something called diminishing returns. Diminishing returns deals with the fact that the more you step up, the less value or bang for the buck you're getting. Because when you were riding the bicycle, it was an unsheltered vehicle and it didn't have a motor and you couldn't get there as fast. There's so many different variables. But then when you get a nice car, you're in a sheltered vehicle. It's got heat. It's got air. It's got a radio. You got seats. It drives really well and all those different things. Well, when you step up to a Mercedes-Benz, you're still going to enjoy the same things. You just look better doing it. You don't necessarily get to your job faster. You don't get there better. You may go there in style, but the reality is when you step up to the luxury vehicles, where they're exactly what they are, luxury vehicles. You're now getting them not for just the transportation. You're getting them now. You're getting them now for the luxury while you're being transported. And so the issue is it's diminishing returns, because if you really think about it, it's not worth the money, depending upon especially how much you make. It's not worth the money to step up an additional 50 or 60,000 when you may step up an additional 50 or 60,000 when the things that you're getting extra are maybe about this much. It's called diminishing returns. You only get so much the more you keep upgrading certain things. Only thing you're upgrading, the more you upgrade is a feature. So I'm saying that to say about the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, how much better can they get? They could get Myles Garrett. They'll be better, but how much better? This got them a Super Bowl. How much better will it get them? What move can they make that will make them that much better? Even if they get better, it'll be a little bit better. What? Change out Jalen Hurts for Patrick Mahomes? You're not going to do things like that. So how much better can the Eagles really get? And we don't know what their offensive scheme is going to look like. We don't know what their defensive, if they may lose someone in free agency on defense. I think Josh Sweat is going to be a free agent. So we never know what's going to happen. And then the other part you have to figure in, just like the injury bug got everyone else, your time comes too. Your time comes too when you get the injury bug. It's also a battle of attrition. Remember what I said? It requires some luck too. So when we think about all of those things, well, how much better can the Eagles get? I know the Washington Commanders can get better. But let's also understand the Cowboys can get better too. And I think the Cowboys, because when we look at the pieces that we have, now I'm going to say some things that's going to make some people mad, but that's okay. When you look at the pieces we have, people don't realize that we can get better quicker than some other teams may be able to get better. Case in point. Dak Prescott is better than Jalen Hurts. I'll give Jalen Hurts all the credit in the world. His team won the Super Bowl. He did a great job, and I'm not going to take anything away from Jalen Hurts. I knew Jalen Hurts was going to be great. The moment he was in college, I said this dude's going to be a problem in the pros, and he has been. And saying all of that, it's his unique skill set that has really propelled him in a sense, but I still say Dak Prescott is better. I look at A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Both good to great wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb is better than both of them. CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is better than both of them. He's better at catching the ball. He's better at yards after the catch. CeeDee Lamb is more electric than both of them. We need one more wide receiver. We don't need 2. We need one more. We need a running back. Okay, no problem. Everything the Cowboys need, we're going to be able to get it. It just depends on if Jerry Jones wants to do it. If Jerry and Steven stay true to what they said, Steven Jones said, I'm going to have to do a video about this because these people, I'm not hating on Micah Parsons, but someone has to be the voice of reason. The Cowboys are not going to make moves because Micah Parsons is putting pressure on them. We heard Steven Jones and Jerry Jones commit to Brian Schottenheimer. We saw them commit to Brian Schottenheimer at the press conference. And whether people accept it or not, Jerry Jones committed to Dak Prescott by getting Brian Schottenheimer. Let that sink in everybody's mind. Jerry isn't committing to Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is talking about he'll take less money. Well, Jerry Jones gave Dak Prescott the boat and gave him the coach that he wanted. So when we think about the commitment that the Joneses are already making, they've committed to Brian Schottenheimer. This is going to catapult us into the coachings. But the Joneses, everything we need, it's right there. Everything we need. We can go get a left tackle in free agency if we want to. I mean, right there. The running back is in the draft. I promise us that the running back is in the draft. And we don't even know what's going to happen yet. I'm very interested to see what do the Baltimore Ravens do with Derrick Henry. Because they're going to have to rework that deal. I mean, they're going to have to rework that deal. I promise y'all they're not going to take the hit on they're not going to take the $11 million hit on Derrick Henry. I don't think they're going to do it. They're desperately going to try to work that deal. Even if they don't plan on keeping him more than one more year, their goal will be to get that cap hit down. People don't believe in paying running backs no more. I would love for Derrick Henry to get to Dallas, regardless of what Micah Parsons is talking about. I would love to see Derrick Henry still work his way to Dallas. I would love to see Derrick Henry and Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry and Omarion Hampton, Derrick Henry and one of the running backs from Ohio State. The running backs will be there. The wide receiver, this draft, the Cowboys are drafting number 12 in all the rounds. The second round or the third. Preferably for me, the second round. The Cowboys will be able to get a wide receiver. They will. They're going to have options in free agency. The Cowboys will have an opportunity, if they want to, I believe again, to get Devontae Adams. I believe that Amari Cooper may be another possibility, depending on what they want to go in that area. I would actually rather them step up and get someone a little bit younger, but don't discount Cooper Rush. This Cooper Rush talk, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a whole lot of Cooper Rush talk, and I know Dro knows. He said he don't want Cooper Rush. But I'll tell you this, Cooper Rush is an upgrade over everything we got other than CeeDee Lamb. Cooper Rush is an upgrade. You fix the line, you can get the running back, you can get the wide receiver. And the offense, we have to understand something. Dak Prescott has already proven he can do more with less, even though we don't give him the credit for it. So how about we give him a little bit more? How about we give him a little bit more? We give him a good number. We got a great number one. Let's get a good to great number two, a bona fide 1B number two receiver. We see then, okay, let's let Tolbert, Mingo, and Flournoy fight it out for the third. Let them fight it out for the third. Brandon Cooks is not going to be here. Kevontae Turpin, let's lock him up, sign him, let him be the fourth. There's no argument there. And if I'm the Cowboys, I'm just being honest with you. If I'm the Cowboys, if I can get if I could get Cooper Kupp and still go in the draft and get a wide receiver, a top flight wide receiver in the second or the third, I'm doing that too. The Cowboys are going to have to stop thinking small, y'all. And I think we're going to have to stop thinking small too. No matter what we do in free agency, I hope we all get this in our minds. No matter what we do in free agency, I don't care if we go out and get the best of the best at any position, still go in the draft and get it too. The running back position, go in the draft and get it too. The wide receiver position, I don't care if you bring in Nick Chubb or Devontae Adams, still go in the draft and get it too. Because we already know if you get them, they probably won't be but 2-year deals. Go in the draft. The Cowboys need to start trying to load up, getting ready, because 2025 will be us getting back to winning. 2026 will be the dominant season. Everybody's going to have to be patient. We're not going to build Rome in a day. The Cowboys have somewhere 22, 25 free agents. We're not going to build Rome in a day. So what we're going to have to do is be patient with the team and watch how they build. But I believe the Cowboys are about to start building. And we're going to be, I'm telling you, we're going to be way more competitive. Watch what I tell you. We're going to be way more competitive than people understand next year. I've been seeing people talking about how crazy and tough the schedule is. Okay. That's good. Good. You know what? For me, we got what we needed. We got a 12th round draft pick. Great. We got almost to the top 10. I don't want to be there again. I don't want to be in the top 10 again. I don't want to be 12 again. Okay, this is cute. 7 and 10. We're not ready for no 5 and 12s and no 4 and 13s and 3 and 14. So we can now get into the top. Nope. Don't want to see no top 10, none of that stuff. We got number 12. We need a running back. Let's get a running back. We need a wide receiver. Let's get a wide receiver. And then let's get up out of here, get the rest of these players in the draft, and now let's go win this thing. Now let's get back to winning. 2026 draft, then we can get the best player available. We'll be ready. We'll be ready in 2026. 2025 is going to be us. It's going to be us getting back in the thing. We're going to have to be patient. I hope the Cowboy fans can be patient, but this is going to take time. And it all depends. If the Joneses really get aggressive, which I don't think they really have to be ultra aggressive. I think they need to be smart. I think they need to get value picks. I mean, high value picks, and in free agency, high value. Don't go in this thing saying, okay, we're going to get a 1-year guy. No, you go in this thing and say, hey, 3 years. If we can find a guy for 3 years, then we can develop another player behind him. Let's do it. Defense, the Cowboys are going to be able to do some things on defense. They are. They can go after Myles Garrett. Probably won't go after Myles Garrett. They can go after Josh Sweat. We're going to see what that looks like. There will be some defensive players they can go after in this free agency. They'll probably be able to get for a good price. And then you go in the draft. I'm not even listening to Michael Parsons as he's talking about Trayvon Diggs. No, Dallas. Now, don't do what some people are talking about. Go in the first round and get the cornerback from Michigan. No. We don't need no offensive line or no defense in rounds 1 and 2. No, let's go and get the wide receiver and the running back. Let's go get that. And then we can backtrack on everything else. Let's get into some super chats, and then we're going to come back what's on the other story. Angie the Rebel Chicks. Philly coming off like insecure champions. You know what? They're still worried about the Cowboys. They're still worried about the Cowboys, Rebel Chicks. Again, appreciate you again. Angie says, the NFL needs the Cowboys. I said it. I've been saying this. No way the Cowboys should be the top conversation after losing season over the stanky Eagles dominating the Chiefs. Facts on top of facts. Angie. If the NFL does not get the Cowboys back into the playoffs in the next year, the ratings are going to continue to decline. The NFL is in a conundrum. The Dallas Cowboys are the best storyline in football, bar none. They're the best storyline in football. Just like when the Chicago Bulls were in their winning phase. We're not even winning. And we're the biggest draw in the NFL. Imagine if we were winning. It would behoove the NFL for the Cowboys to start winning. Start winning again. I'm telling y'all, this year, the league, week after week, the numbers were down. I find it to be strange. Cowboys were not competitive. Dak Prescott went down. This league needs the Dallas Cowboys. It does. It absolutely does. The sport is not the same without the Dallas Cowboys winning. JNY Blue, appreciate you. Did I say Cooper Rush? Excuse me, I meant Cooper Kupp. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. I meant Cooper Kupp. Yes, sir. Cooper Kupp. I don't mind. If the Cowboys get Cooper Kupp, bring him on. Get Cooper Kupp if you're going to still say we're going in the draft and we're going to get, because they're not going to be able to get the best wide receiver. McMillan will be gone. Go in the draft and say, I'm going to get the second best wide receiver or the third best wide receiver. Go in there and get that wide receiver. And then everything else you can work on building. Now, Alex, 999 Super Chat, appreciate you. Alex said, Philly's been talking so crazy on Dak, it's insane. I can't wait till we play them next season. Let's see who has the last laugh next season. Appreciate your work, G. Appreciate you. DC4L, yes, sir. See, even Philadelphia, they're not realizing. I'm telling you what you need. And I know a lot of y'all know this is not, I'm not telling you anything new. You need a great team. You need a good to great team. I think it needs to be hovering between good, whatever that is in between good and great. You need to be hovering between that and great. So you need to be better than good, in between good and great. You need luck. The luck is some other teams get injured. Do y'all know the other team that got injured that made the Philadelphia Eagles ride a whole lot easier? Dak Prescott going down. Micah Parsons going down. Deron Bland going down. Trayvon Diggs was kind of shaky already, but Trayvon Diggs went down. DeMarcus Lawrence went down. I mean, we could just name all the players for the Dallas Cowboys that went down over and over and over. That benefited them. When teams in your division suffer injuries, you don't want them out of the league, but it definitely helps. You also need luck on your own team. Can we stay healthy the whole season? And if you think about it, the Eagles got all those things. All those things worked for them. All those things worked for them. The Philadelphia Eagles, when you look at it in totality, they were one of the healthiest teams in the league. And they benefited. But you need those things. You need all of those things. You need a combination of things. It happens all the time, from baseball to basketball to football to hockey. When there are major injuries on a good team, Major injuries on a great team. Well, if you were the second best team and the first best team, think about it. There was no team more dominant than the Detroit Lions early in the season. If the Detroit Lions would have stayed healthy, I think we're talking about a whole different playoff. But if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. But everyone needs, it's a battle of attrition. Azteca said, don't forget, we need another linebacker because Overshown will not be ready till November, December. I wouldn't mind drafting Jalen Walker and if not, sign a free agent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, for sure. For sure, Azteca. I think one of the things we need to do is, if we can, let's do both. Anything we do in free agency, Azteca, anything we do in free agency, don't let it nullify us not doing the same thing in the draft, if anyone's following what I'm saying. Let's just say the Cowboys say, hey, man, let's go out and get Nick Chubb. Okay, cool. Still make sure you get Ashton Genty if he's there. Still make sure you get Amarian Hampton if you can't get Ashton Genty. Still make sure that no matter what you do not let it nullify what you're going to do in the draft, because the young players are going to be important. The Cowboys not only need veteran impact players, they're going to need rookie impact players. They need them bad. And there are two positions that if you hit on these in the draft, and you can typically hit on these in the draft, they will pay dividends almost immediately. There is no better position in the NFL that translates like the running back. You get a running back that's been running all his life and been running through people his entire life, it's not going to be too much difference when he gets to the pros. He's going to run through people in the pros too. Especially if he's one of these top flight running backs, he's going to run through people in the pros too. Even if you don't get him the best blocking in the world, he will still have some success. So the Cowboys, yes, linebackers too. Cowboys need to, because I think Sam Williams is coming back. But even though Sam Williams is coming back, Sam Williams has stayed injured. Cowboys are going to need to go in this draft. And we'll look at some of these in a moment after we look at the coaches. But Azteca, just kind of bringing that up. So you think about in free agency, these are just the ones that Pro Football Focus have rated the top linebackers. Dre Greenlaw, Nick Bolton, Ernest Jones, Levante David, Bobby Wagner, Zach Bond. I don't think we have to worry about Bobby Wagner. I'll be shocked if Dan Quinn don't bring him back. Jamie and Sherwood, Tyrell Dodson, Landon Roberts, Kaiser White. You don't have to get number one, Dallas. You don't have to get number one. All these are good. You don't have to get number one. Just get one of these top 10. We're going to need cornerback. If I'm the Cowboys, I go in the later part of the draft, I'm going to get me a cornerback. I'm not believing what Michael Parsons is saying about Trayvon Diggs yet. Trayvon Diggs has bone-on-bone action going on that knee. I would actually rather the Cowboys let Trayvon Diggs sit out a whole year. And whatever he needs to do, do it. Go in the draft. Go in free agency. I would love to see Kavarius Ward with the Dallas Cowboys. Rasul Douglas. But you can go all the way down to 10, Dallas. Some of these guys will not be commanding top-tier pay. I'd love to see Asante Samuel Jr. in Dallas. Great pedigree. If anybody remembers Asante Samuel, he was great. I would not mind seeing his son in Dallas. And then still go get a cornerback. I think the Cowboys, whatever they do in free agency, double up if you need to. Double up. Anybody know what I'm talking about? We used to buy them Air Jordans back in the day. We used to double up on them things. You buy one pair to wear and one pair to put in the closet. Double up, because y'all think about what else got us this year. Injuries. Injuries got us this year. The one thing we got to learn how to do, let's stop being top heavy. Rather than being top heavy, okay, in some of these positions, let's go get some veteran presence, So if there's an injury that happens, if one of the veterans get hurt, well, we went and got somebody in the draft. We already had somebody in the draft to cover that position too. We're going to have to do double duty. Freddie, what's going on with you, man? Good to see you in the house. Let me get some more greetings in here. Bleeding Blue, what's going on with you? Bleeding Blue, oh, man, you said that's why they hate us, G. We are the NFL, win or lose. There's nothing like the Dallas Cowboys. There's nothing like us. And I'm going to tell you something. Darren Woodson put this thought back in my mind. Darren Woodson said, man, we're the Dallas Cowboys. We're the most valuable franchise, the most valuable sports franchise in the world. And it brought me back to even, this is one of the things that Brian Schottenheimer is taking pride in. He says, we're the Dallas doggone Cowboys. Everybody want to be us. Everybody want to be us and everybody want to beat us. There's nobody like us. Everybody want to be us and everybody want to beat us. They want to be America's team. I'm laughing. The governor of Philadelphia said that the Philadelphia Eagles are now America's team. Where? In Philadelphia? The Kansas City Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls. They still couldn't be America's team. Nobody can take the America's team moniker away from the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, sir, Anthony Jefferson. They talk about the Cowboys nonstop. Angie, she says it seems like nobody cares that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. It came and went that fast. Building around Dak. I'm on that Dak glory juice. yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, this season's going to be great. I'm telling y'all the season is going to be absolutely great. I see the Cowboys, they're going to be better sooner than later. And everyone's going to do all they're talking about. The Cowboys not going to be this and the Cowboys not going to be do that. And it's going to be the very thing that's going to propel this team to being exactly what it needs to be. But let's go into this subject matter here. And I'll read some more of your comments as we keep going. Here we go. Man, let me tell y'all something. I'm excited about this right here. I'm excited about this right here. Let me go back to that. Hold on a second. I forgot. My uncle got on to me last week. He said, how come I hadn't been sending him the links? But I'm telling y'all, I'm excited about this right here. I'm excited about this. Finally. We have the coaching. We have it. We don't have to do no more talking about the coaches any longer. No more talking. And I think in the grand scheme of things, I think when you look at the major positions, I think the Cowboys, I think they got in the major positions some really good coaches. Clayton Adams, from the Arizona Cardinals, yes, I'm loving it. The Junior Adams guy, he's a first-year guy. I'm thinking they're saying that he's from maybe Oregon or something like that. I think he's one of the reasons why everyone keeps talking about I think he's the reason that everyone keeps talking about Cooper Kupp. And this guy's been responsible for some of the really good wide receivers in the league. You got Raymond Chinyong. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. We got Ken Dorsey, pass game specialist. I mean, let me tell y'all something about Ken Dorsey. I think Ken Dorsey kind of got a raw deal in Buffalo. I really think Ken Dorsey got a raw deal in Buffalo. I mean, he's a part of the reason that Josh Allen kind of turned his game around too. But they needed a fall guy. And there was a lot of people that were not happy about the fact they got rid of Ken Dorsey. I'm not familiar with Ryan Fetter. Derek Foster, everybody seems to be high on him. And I think it's kind of funny. Tashard Choice. I kind of figured the Cowboys were not going to get Tashard Choice. Someone was saying that Tashard Choice didn't want to come to the Cowboys. I don't think it was the case that Tashard Choice didn't want to come to the Cowboys. Man, people have to understand what this dude was making. He's making $750,000 as a running back coach at Texas. And now he's going to the Detroit Lions. And I'm sure he's going to make way more than that for the Detroit Lions. But The Cowboys would have had to do the same thing. And to make him the running backs coach, I mean, you're gonna have to make him one of the highest paid position coaches in the league. So the Detroit Lions, they bought him on as a running backs coach. And hey, they got a couple of good running backs, and I guess they want to see them go to the next level. Derek Foster, everybody says he's pretty good. So you know what? I'm on a reserve judgment like we all should. Let's see who the Cowboys bring him in to run for him, and let's see what he does. I'm very interested to see what he does with Deuce Vaughn. I'm very interested to see. We got Deal Harding, quarterback fellowship. Not sure what that is. Maybe fancy name for quarterbacks coach, I guess. They got Connor Riley on the offensive line. Steve Shimko, quarterbacks. I guess he's part of the fellowship of quarterbacks. We got Tyquan Underwood, assistant wide receivers coach. I think he's coming highly touted. And then we got Lunda Wells. Everybody loves him. So, I mean, when I look at this right here, and Brian Schottenheimer is going to be calling the plays. I like what we got. This is the beginning to me of a winning staff. I mean, I think about when Jimmy Johnson first came to the league. Jimmy Johnson brought on all these different coaches. All of them were fired up. Jimmy was a first-year coach out of college, but everybody was fired up. And they were coming off of a bad season. I think it was a 1-15 season. Everybody knew the task at hand. And within 3 years? Within 3 years, the Cowboys win a Super Bowl. And so, I've been talking about this all season pretty much. If you're going to build a team, it has to be from the top down. So, the Joneses, they've committed. Jerry said they're going to manage the salary cap better. They're going to stop waiting until the last minute and make these deals. So, we get to see this in action with Micah Parsons. What is the Cowboys? What are they going to do with Micah Parsons? What are the Cowboys going to do with Micah Parsons? Because Micah Parsons keep doing all this talking about, his deal, and he wants to go ahead and get his deal done. Well, again, Micah Parsons, you're talking about you want the Cowboys to be aggressive in free agency, bro. First things first, you need to just be concerned about your own business. Get your contract signed first. Get your contract done first. And a lot of people are saying they want Dak Prescott to be vocal and they want CeeDee Lamb to be vocal. No. We don't need them to be vocal in the court of public opinion. We need them to be vocal behind the scenes. I want y'all to understand, being vocal in the court of public opinion, that's for us. That's for us. Being vocal behind the scenes, that's for the team. Being vocal in the media, that's for the media. The media loves that. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I'll take it and run with it. I'll report it too. But to be honest with you, I want Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. If Jerry's going to commit to Micah Parsons, I want all three of them to align. I want all three of them to get on the same page. Let there be no division among them, as the Bible says. Amen? And they go and they talk to Jerry Jones. And don't come back and tell the media, yeah, we talked to Jerry. No. This is how you build a team. You build camaraderie. You build trust. And there are things that when you build trust, you keep things in the family. It has to be one goal. And everybody has to have that same common goal. And nobody needs to be trying to get out in front of the team. The Dallas Cowboys, when Troy Aikman was here, Troy Aikman was the leader. There were leaders on the team. They all held each other accountable. But Troy Aikman was the leader. We understand this. We acknowledge it. Micah Parsons, understand it, acknowledge it. Stop all the underhanded, undermined, this dirty stuff. Get on the same page. Y'all go and y'all talk to them. And if someone that, oh, yeah, things are going great. Yeah. Got great communication going with Jerry and Steven. Everything's going great. You build trust on the inside. You get that mentality to your team, and then you insulate your team with trust. And the team will trust one another because they won't have to worry about one of the players going to the front office, or they won't have to worry about one of the players going to the media, one of the players doing something on a podcast. No, we got to start building this stuff in-house. So for me, like I told somebody today on X, everybody's talking about they want Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb start speaking up. How you know they're not speaking up? That's the part you don't understand. We have become just encapsulated by this social media age that we think because someone's not saying it publicly, they're not doing it. How do we know what Dak Prescott is doing? We don't know when he's talking to Jerry Jones on the phone. We don't know when he goes to the office. We don't know when and what he's doing. And just because we don't see it, don't mean it's not happening. So I'm cool with what's going on, because at the end of the day, Jerry and Steven have already wrote the check. We don't need any more talking, y'all. And the talking we are doing needs to just be encouraging. We just need to be encouraging now. Steven committed. He said it to us. He said it to the Dallas Cowboy fan base. They have every right to be upset. They should expect a winner, and we're going to do everything we can do to get this back for the fan base. They said it. We didn't. So why do we have to keep talking? No, we don't have to keep talking now. Let's just keep encouraging. How about we start saying Jerry and Steven are going to do something? Or, hey, you know what? They said it. We're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see. That's all we have to do. And the beginning of them improving this team is what we're looking at right here. The coaching staff. What we're looking at right here. It's exactly what we wanted to see. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit out of the loop. Y'all tell me in the chat. I don't remember this kind of excitement. I don't remember this level of coaches. I don't remember any of this around Mike McCarthy. I don't remember any of this. This coaching staff that they have put together around Brian Schottenheimer, they've insulated him. I mean, in the key positions, you think about in the key positions, they got him some veteran leadership in these key positions. Look at the years in some of these major positions. Offensive coordinator, 7 years. Offensive line, 4 years. Ken Dorsey, pass game, 12 years. Game management, 10 years. 5 years, 4 years, 13 years. They have went in here at the major positions. They got veteran leadership. And then if you look at these all first year, they're all kind of, in a sense, under these veteran guys to where now they're going to be able to develop. Look at the defense. This is where I'm most impressed. Matt Eberflus, 17th year. 17th year. I think he's going to be a heck of a. He's going to do the same type of defense we just watched the Eagles do, the 49ers do, the Green Bay Packers do. He's going to do that same type of defense. Rush 4, drop 7. It is the Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen killer. That's what it is. It'll even kill Jalen Hurts. It'll kill Jalen Hurts too. When you can get this type of defense to be successful, it requires an offense to be very skillful. Very skillful, very intent. They better have an offensive line. They better have an offensive line when you rush 4 and drop 7. Because if you don't have an offensive line, you'll never make them be able to come out of that shell coverage. You'll never be able to bring them out. So I'm excited to see what Eberflus does for us. Can he really? And you think about our defense. I thought the Dan Quinn defenses were good, but I thought they were more smoke and mirrors. Dan Quinn's defenses were made to play with a lead. The moment you got behind, Dan Quinn's defenses fell apart. The moment you ran the ball, Dan Quinn's defenses fell apart. So I'm hoping Matt Eberflus can bring a little bit more stability, because even when you think about now, Zimmer, I wouldn't have minded Zimmer. I'll just be honest with you. I wouldn't have minded Zimmer hanging around here another year or two. Zimmer had cracked the code, for lack of a better term. Zimmer had cracked the code. Zimmer was shutting down running backs. The problem with Zimmer towards the end, the thing that just kept getting Zimmer, was the back end. The back end kept getting Zimmer. And I thought we got a little bit, maybe to a lot of bit better on the back end towards the end, but it was the back end that was giving up on Zimmer. He just couldn't stop the big plays. I mean, there was just nothing he could do. It was Deron Bland and no one else. The safety play was not up to par. So when I look at the defense, Eberflus, Brian Bean, Dave Borgonzi. I mean, look at the years on these guys, 17th, 15th. J.J. Clark. I don't know a lot about him. Andre Curtis, 20 years, defensive pass coordinator. We got David Overstreet, 8th year, secondary and corners. And, man, I am telling you, I cannot believe this, but it hurt my heart when I heard that L. Harris, and we saw the proof on the field, we just didn't want to accept it. But they were saying that L. Harris, a lot of people were saying that L. Harris wasn't that good. That's why Dallas let him go. A lot of people were saying he was not that good. And if you think about it, it was a lot of the secondary play, even though can't hate on them too bad because there were some injuries back there. But a lot of people were saying the secondary play was just not up to snuff. So we got David Overstreet in here. We'll see what he does. Got Tenzel Smart, Darian Thompson, Aaron Whitecotton, defensive line coach. So when you look at these positions, this is the beginning. Now, let's not call it a championship coaching staff. This is a good coaching staff. I heard that Brian Schottenheimer did a lot of work. And Brian Schottenheimer, from what my understanding is, he interviewed all of these people. But I'm not going to give Brian Schottenheimer all the credit because some of these guys, I know Brian Schottenheimer didn't handpick all these guys. But what I'm going to give credit to, and we got to give credit where credit is due, the Joneses. They're doing something similar. I know we don't like the sexy. I know we don't think Brian Schottenheimer is a sexy pick. But they're doing some things for Brian similar to what they did for Jimmy. They got this man a coaching staff. I mean, a serious coaching staff. I mean, special teams. We'll see what Nick Sorensen does. Carlos Polk, assistant special teams. Looks like they got a first-year strength and conditioning coach. It's his first year. We'll see what that looks like. And then all of these other people, they are people that have been with the Cowboys. So maybe Tyler Boyles will bring somewhat of a change to something that there seemed to be some people were complaining about, the strength and conditioning. So I hope the Cowboys can get better in there because I tell you what, a lot of injuries this year. Some of it was freak injuries and some of it I think may be attributed to strength and conditioning. Let me get another super chat in here and then I'm going to go through some more of your JY Blue, man, you're going to finance the whole channel, brother. Appreciate you. JY Blue. If Genty's gone, we should trade back and pick up a 2 or 3. Yes. Or even a 4th. Coaching is looking good. By the way, it's Johnny Blue. Okay. Gotcha. Johnny Blue. Okay. I was wondering because when I was reading JY Blue, I was thinking of you like a cop or live in New York. Johnny Blue. I got you. I wish I could figure out your schedule so I could be here for the start. 6:30. I've been doing 6:30. Whenever you see me do like a 7, it's because maybe there's somewhat other content creator. Maybe they have something going on. And so I'll kind of leave a little bit of leeway for people to continue to see that because I see sometimes some of the same people on those. JNY Blue, but I'm pretty much stuck Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to be 6:30 unless otherwise. But I'll make sure, too. I'm going to start advertising. I've already started doing it, if you noticed. I've already started kind of right here. I got to make sure I put this up. I keep forgetting. But I'm going to start putting this up. I'm going to have an advertisement here of when I'm going to do the live streams. So 6:30 is the target. Again, appreciate you, my brother Johnny Blue of Genty's Gone. And you know what? We'll talk about, I want to look at, I'm glad you brought that up too. Let me find this real quick since you brought this up. Let me see if if NFL.com still has it up. NFL.com had a mock. They had a mock draft a few days ago. Let's see. Yeah, they had a mock draft. Okay, I'm gonna pull that up. Johnny Blue, and then we're gonna come back to the issue about Ashton Jeanty. We'll come back to that. Let's finish this up with these coaches. But I like so far. I can't do nothing but be happy about what the Cowboys have done with the coaching staff. Y'all tell me. I'm just happy what the Cowboys have done with the coaching staff. I mean, I just don't remember when Mike McCarthy got hired. I don't remember anybody talking about the coaching staff like this. The Dallas Cowboys coaching staff, to me, is one of the first indicators. Okay, they seem to be serious about what they're doing. They seem to be serious. Paul, what's going on in the crib? Good to see you. Yes, Angie said hit that like button. Yes, I appreciate it. Y'all hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Bleeding Blue, yes, sir. JJ could have Jerry Jones could have a Super Bowl season if he would just open the vault. I can tell you this, I believe he would get close. I do. Johnny Demps, what's going on? I'm from Washington, D.C., and there are more Cowboy fans than Commanders fans. We just need to get back on track. Yes, sir. I'm with you. And I think we're about to get back on track, too. Jerry said Lions had had essentially a practice squad type defense that was due to pay the price. People shouldn't get ahead of themselves to think the Eagles will dominate the NFC East, NFL altogether. No. You know what? And you think about this. Even the Green Bay Packers were injured towards the end. All of these things helped everybody. There's a reason why Dan Quinn wanted to get that last win. He wanted to take the road he took specifically because he saw weakness or he saw an opening through the route they would take. Because he's like, you know what? If we can avoid the Eagles, they knew the Eagles were a bad matchup for him. So they knew if we can win the last game, we can avoid the Eagles all the way to the end. It was a great strategy, even though they almost didn't pull it off. Angie, what's going on with you? Lil D Texas, what's going on? Will we have the same backup quarterbacks? I doubt it. I doubt we're going to have the same backup quarterback. I think the backup quarterback is going to be very interesting for the Dallas Cowboys. We got Will Grier. They need a veteran, though. Will Grier, to me, tells me that Cooper Rush isn't coming back. Will Grier tells me that Cooper Rush is not coming back. Either Cooper Rush or Trey Lance is not coming back because they're not going to carry all four of them. Rumor has it is that Cooper Rush is going to get a job in Minnesota, and he's going to be the backup to J.J. McCarthy. That's what the rumor says. But I do think the Cowboys need to get them a veteran. Maybe they need to get them a veteran. Yeah, that's what we were talking about yesterday, Angie, that he said them Eagle fans got the Cowboys beat, and that's why I opened up with that story at the beginning of him talking about the Eagles fans were crazy, and then they had the parade today, and there were 2 shootings. I mean, when you talk about passion, man, I'm always kind of wary about that stuff. Freddie Morales, man, I didn't either. Freddie said, man, he said, dang, I never realized there were so many coaches in the pro coaching staff. You know what? I didn't either. I did not either. Freddie, I never even heard of a quarterback fellowship. I've looked at some positions on websites. I've never seen quarterback fellowship. So maybe it is something that's not new. I just hadn't seen it before. Yeah, man, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot on there, man. There's a lot on there. Oh, yeah, that too. Jared Thomas, the 49ers were injured. Yes. Yep, the 49ers were injured. Now, you're answering Brandy Mahoney. I don't see where she said anything. Okay, but I'm with you. 49ers were injured for sure as well. Also, KC was injured to hell all year, and we're literally just getting healthy by the Super Bowl. Yep, KC literally got fully healthy. I'm telling you, people do not understand. When it comes to this whole winning thing, it's more to this than just running through and dominating teams. Sometimes, man, you just have a year where your competition gets beat up and injured. Sometimes it's not even beat up, they just get injured. And while you don't want to see your competition injured, but it bodes well for you. It bodes well for you. It boded well, not for the Washington Commanders as much, but for the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, Dak Prescott was hurt. It benefited him. It benefited quite a few teams. Dak Prescott was hurt. It really did. It benefited them. Because some of those teams would have been losses had Dak Prescott been healthy. JNY Blue, another Johnny Blue, another super chat.
Yeah, here we go.
Johnny Blue. He says, thank you, brother. Strength and conditioning had a missing component. I think nutrition. Looking at individuals and how they heal, blood work, etc. Just my opinion. And this may be the very reason why they changed out the chief of staff. Maybe they're saying there was nothing wrong with the staff as much as the chief of staff and the direction he was taking the staff in. So we're going to see how this all plays out. But the Cowboys' injuries this year, man, they were a plentiful. They were plentiful. Angie, I'm curious about Guyton. How will he turn out this upcoming season? I think Guyton is going to move to the right side of the line. I don't think he'll be, I hope the Cowboys do not keep Tyler Guyton right now at left tackle. His feet are not quick enough. I think Guyton has some power, Angie, but when I looked at him all season long on tape, the feet were not quick enough. Feet were not quick enough. They got to get him, they need him at maybe right tackle and then build him up. But I don't even say, I would keep him at right tackle. I say go in free agency. Let's look at this real quick while we're on the subject of free agents. Let's look at this real quick. And then, as a matter of fact, we'll go from free agency and then we'll look at this mock draft. So let's look at free agency. Top free agents. Let me see if they got it on this page here. So the Cowboys are going to have some options. They will have some options. These are the top offensive tackles. Now I'm laughing. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Would y'all want to bring Tyron Smith back? Would y'all want to bring Tyron Smith back for some depth? Hold on a second. Let me pull the list up. But I want to look at the left tackle in particular. See who's going to be available. Left tackle's available because there's already been some articles written. I saw some great articles written about left tackles that the Cowboys could get in free agency. Guys who could come in and just immediately probably wreck shop for the Cowboys. But I wanted to look at left tackle in particular. Let's see if anybody's got a left tackle list. But I saw two left tackles that people were talking about in particular, and I was like, yeah, the Cowboys should really think of, let's see if they got them by that position. All right, here we go. So there will be a list of left tackles that'll be available. So for left tackle, Angie, I'm not putting Guyton at left tackle. That could get killed again. So you got Cam Robinson, Ronnie Stanley, Tyron Smith. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all wouldn't want Tyron Smith. Cornelius Lucas, Kelvin Beachum. But I think the two that everyone was talking about, I want to say it was maybe the San Francisco tackles and maybe the DeMontre Jacobs. But they're going to have options. They'll have options at left tackle. And I think the Cowboys, and I think one of the reasons why they were talking about this group in particular is because of the age. I don't know if you want to be dabbling around in the 35s. Tyron Smith is 34. I just wonder how many games that Tyron Smith. Now, y'all know the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all know the Dallas Cowboys. We'll circle the block in a minute. I mean, we'll circle the block in a minute. And if Tyron Smith gives the Dallas Cowboys a cheap deal, who knows? They'll probably circle the block back around on Tyron Smith. You never know. So, but the Cowboys are going to have options at left tackle. They will definitely have options. And I do think that they also, that they have the left tackle on the team. They just got to keep on developing the left tackle that they have on the team. But in the meanwhile, I'm going in and I am definitely going to consider left tackle, and I'm going to consider also defensive tackle, because I'm telling y'all, this doggone Dan Quinn is a shrewd operator. Dan Quinn is going to run the price up for us. Also, Odigizua, interior defensive, because we got to get to the point that we're trying to control both lines of scrimmage. Also, Odigizua is going to be a problem for the Cowboys. I got a strange feeling, and I just hope the Cowboys make the right decision. Because I don't even think that Dan Quinn's going to be the only player for Osa Odigizua. I don't think he's going to be the only buyer. I think there are going to be teams that are going to be looking at Osa Odigizua, because he kind of fits right there in the middle of that pay range. Cowboys, I mean, the Eagles got a couple of guys to worry about. They got Milton Williams. He's going to be on the interior. I think there'll be teams. See, this is the part of the game that people have to understand. When you start talking about teams getting better, well, a lot of times when you get a Super Bowl team, people have achieved their goal. Some people want multiple Super Bowls. And some people want one Super Bowl, especially when you get players who may be a little bit older. They get that one Super Bowl, now they want the bag. Now they want the bag. They've earned the Super Bowl. Now they've earned the bag. They want the bag now. Now they want to go out. I got the hardware. Now I want the vault. Now I want the vault. And so the Eagles, they're going to now be battling what everyone else battles, the battle of attrition. You think about the Kansas City Chiefs. Even though they won a Super Bowl, I don't think they were the same after Tyreek Hill. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at his numbers after Tyreek Hill. It's not that he hasn't played well, but man, them numbers with Tyreek Hill were bananas. Those numbers with Tyreek Hill were bananas. And so again, once people start getting that hardware, they're ready to move on and get paid. So the Eagles, they got Milton Williams up in this thing, and they got Josh Sweat up in this thing. I'm telling you, the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys got an opportunity. And y'all tell me what y'all think. I was screaming for this guy this season. The Cowboys got an opportunity. They could put Hassan Reddick on a 2-year, give him a 3-year deal, 2 with a 3rd-year option. I think another kid they might ought to think about. Y'all know we're not bringing back DeMarcus Lawrence. At least I don't think we are. If I'm the Cowboys, man, I would seriously consider Chase Young. I would seriously consider Chase Young. You could probably get Chase Young on the lower end of the pay scale. I would love to bring in Chase Young and make him a part of this team for the next 2 years. I'm telling y'all, they could probably get Chase Young dirt cheap and still think about a Khalil Mack, a Hassan Reddick, a Josh Sweat. I'm telling you, man, you just wait till free agency. Free agency is going to be exciting as it always is. But I want to see where the Cowboys play in all of this because, man, there are some show-enough players. There are some show-enough players that the Cowboys are going to have an opportunity to pick up and improve this team. See, people got to understand something about the Cowboys. We're not as far off as people think. We make about 2 to 3 major plays in free agency. And we already pretty much know. I think we all know the plan for the draft. We know the plan, y'all. The plan for the draft is running back, wide receiver, defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, safety, and then we'll probably deal in the D-line. We'll probably deal in the O-line, somewhere in all of that. But we know what the Cowboys are going to do. It's just a matter of doing it. I've seen some of these mock drafts, and people, please, hold off. Hold off on quarterback. We don't need a quarterback. Don't waste not one pick on a quarterback. We don't need a quarterback till 2027. We don't want to waste every pick we get. We don't want some guy that can come off the bench and say maybe he has a miracle season and win a Super Bowl. No. We don't want that. Let's see what Dak looks like this year. Dak stays healthy, we keep going the way we're going. Dak stays healthy this year, which I think he'll stay upright. I think he'll stay healthy. Dak stays healthy, we go another year. Nope, don't get a quarterback. Dedicate every single position to a player that will, if possible, they can almost immediately contribute in some form or fashion. Don't want no quarterback sitting on the bench because you mess around and get a quarterback this year. If you say he's the quarterback of the future, well, by the time he sees the field, it'll be time for a contract. You get this quarterback in 2027. And if I'm the Cowboys in 2027, because by then everything should be really popping, 2027, go in the first round, get your quarterback. Because the way you're going to be winning, you're going to be drafting at the back of the draft anyway. Get your quarterback. Get your quarterback at 25, 26, or 27 in 2027. But we don't need to waste nothing on no quarterback. Nothing in this draft or the next. Every one of these players we get, they need to come in. They need to be players that we're saying these guys are going to come in and contribute. But I'm telling us, we're not listening to nothing that Jerry Jones or any of the media say about the Cowboys don't have the money to spend. We're not listening to that talk no more. Cowboys, we already know they got these void years built into CeeDee Lamb's contract, void years built into Dak Prescott's contract. They save $11 million signing Micah Parsons. They're going to save money on his contract too. The Cowboys are going to have money. Terrence Steele should no longer be on this team. He shouldn't go another season in Dallas, y'all. Cut Terrence Steele and save that money now. Cut those safeties and save that money now. And of the 25 free agents we have, we already know we're probably only going to sign about 6 of them. It is what it is. Let's go ahead, get them 6 signed, get it done, and then we know exactly what we're going to do in free agency. We know exactly what we're going to do in the draft. But as it stands right now, I'm happy with the coaching. Now all I'm going to do is wait and see. Cowboys have already said what they're going to do. So let's see. We don't have to do no more talking. All we need to do is encouraging. We don't have to be talking about what they're not going to do because I know everybody keeps, they're not going to do anything. Okay, let's wait. Let's see. They said it. We didn't. We don't have to say what they should do no more. They told us what they should do. We don't have to say it no more. Now we're going to wait and see. Are the Joneses going to put their money where their mouth is? Are they now going to go out and get these players because they're going to be readily available right there in free agency and in the draft? I want to go to this. Let's go to this draft real quick. I wanted to get to this yesterday, but there's a couple of Dan Parr, and let's see, which one of these guys? Yes, Dan Parr. I want y'all to look at this and tell me what you think. Let me get a couple more greetings in here. So a lot more people done come in here. Let's see. Damon Davis, what's good? What's good with you? Rhonda, good to see you. Rhonda said, absolutely, G. I don't remember this many changes to the coaching staff. The Joneses know the clock is ticking. They own it. They own it, Rhonda. I'm telling you, if nobody else is noticing it, I'm noticing it. They're on it. They're on it. Nisi said, this team needs more togetherness. Yes, I see click groups with our team. Yes. Yes, Nisi. And Michael Parsons, I don't like what he said in that interview. He was talking about the injuries allowed young players like him to assume leadership. There was an imbalance, the old way of doing things and the young way of doing things. No, Brian Schottenheimer got to kill that stuff. Brian Schottenheimer got to step in there and kill that nonsense. Do not let there be the youth against the veterans. And that seems to be some form of Michael Parsons movement too. Do not let that nonsense go on in that locker room. Stop it. Respect those veterans. Let them teach you how to be a pro, man. Pay them man's homage. They did it before you came. Respect those men's skill sets. Respect what they're going to bring to the team. Respect what they bring to the team. We got to kill this type of stuff. What's going on, Michelle? Appreciate you. What's going on with you? Damon says since Jerry Shoddy hired his own staff, he's let him pick his players from free agency. I can tell you this, Jerry has let Shoddy do some coach picking. We won't be able to say he didn't let Shoddy do some coach picking because he has. Appreciate you, Bleeding Blue. Hey, what's going on? I guess it's A, right? What's going on with you? What's going on? I'm telling us. So as it pertains to this draft, I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about this. Now, I'm telling y'all might not remember, but I said this before somebody else has now been reporting this in the media. But somebody has been saying, even though he's not saying this, y'all might not remember, but I told y'all a few weeks ago, I believe Deion Sanders' road to the NFL is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. It's being reported, and we're going to see if this happens. It's being reported that the Tennessee Titans are shopping the number one pick. I said I would do this too. They're shopping the number one pick because, and I guarantee you, the team that's going to make the run for that number one pick is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady, I'm telling y'all, Tom Brady has a plan. Tom Brady has a plan. Tom Brady's plan is to get Shedeur Sanders. The clock is already ticking on Pete Carroll. If they get Shedeur Sanders, the clock is ticking. Pete Carroll is on a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. I guarantee you, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to make a major go for Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not going to be surprised because I think that the Tennessee Titans, as well as the Cleveland Browns, I think those two teams in particular have in their mind that Deion Sanders doesn't want Shedeur playing for them. I think they have that in their mind. And if I'm them, I'm not going to trip because a lot of these guys don't even have they don't even have Shedeur or Cam Ward really rated as top ranked number one quarterbacks. Whatever all that means in the grand scheme of things. I still say Sam Darnold is out there. And if I'm the Tennessee Titans, there's actually a couple of quarterbacks out there. Hold on a second. There's a couple of quarterbacks out there. There is, and let's pull it up. There are a couple of quarterbacks out there. I don't want them to be the quarterback of my franchise for the future. I want them to be the quarterback of my franchise right now. That if I can get them and start building a team as I look down the road at the draft and see, okay, maybe next year there'll be a better quarterback class, I'd be willing to ride with these guys on 1-year deals, 2-year tops. And I think one of the top guys out there is going to be one, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is the perfect bridge quarterback for a lot of teams. If it's not Sam Darnold, what is his name? I think Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is going to probably be on some teams' radar as far as just maybe a 1-year gig. You're not getting Kirk Cousins. I know what Kirk Cousins is, y'all. Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is going to be out there as a bridge quarterback for teams that might say, hey, you know what? Why don't we just get one of these guys? We can roll with one of these guys and we can win, but not necessarily win big. And then we can, if things aren't going right, we can get our quarterback of the future. But if I'm the Tennessee Titans, I don't want to deal with the headache of Deion Sanders don't want Shador in Tennessee. If I'm Cleveland, and I'm not going to Cleveland, I don't care what anybody says. I wouldn't even go to Cleveland myself, but I don't want to deal with Deion. So if one of those two teams get in position to get Shador, I would trade him. And I think the Las Vegas Raiders would be willing to give you pretty much whatever you're asking for to get Shador Sanders. Because y'all have to understand about Shador. The team that's getting Shador Sanders, it's not just about Shador Sanders being a great quarterback. Shador Sanders is a quarterback that's going to bring money to your franchise because his father is Deion Sanders. And I guarantee you that if the Las Vegas Raiders get Shador, here comes Deion. And the Las Vegas Raiders will not shock me. They trade, they get Shador, and then they're going to go in the 4th round or the 5th round and get doggone Shiloh Sanders. And then Pete Carroll is officially on the clock. He better win the Super Bowl in those first 2 seasons, because anything short of the Super Bowl, if they wind up getting Shador and Shiloh, anything short of the Super Bowl, Pete Carroll is out of there. But I digress. So there's an interesting thing they're talking about with the Dallas Cowboys. And they're saying that at number 12, rather than the Cowboys getting Ashton Jeanty, they're saying that the Cowboys trades that pick to the Cleveland Browns and brings in Myles Garrett. Y'all tell me what y'all think, because I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm just telling you what I think. Let me tell y'all something. If Jerry Jones gets the opportunity to have both Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons, you better strongly consider that. You better strongly consider that issue. Because when you think about running backs, Ashton Jeanty is not the end-all to be-all. I know I've seen people talking about this on X, and I don't understand the thought process in this. Do not get me wrong. Ashton Jeanty looks like he's going to be a great running back. I'm not going to go as far as to say that Ashton Jeanty is a people throw this word around like it's trash. When you're talking generational running backs, sometimes there's a generational running back and we don't even know it's a generational running back. But there are just some running backs. Man, when you start talking about generational, Barry Sanders is generational. And while Ashton Jeanty ranked up a lot of yards, they didn't look like Barry Sanders yards. Those yards did not look like, I'm telling y'all, Barry Sanders, I guarantee you there are men in the NFL whose knees still don't work right. Barry Sanders was not breaking ankles. Barry Sanders was tearing tendons in knees. Barry Sanders turned people, backwards, sideways. This dude, generational. Now, Emmett turned out to be a generational back, and we didn't know he was going to be generational. He had a great line, but he was also a very great back. You think about guys like Eric Dickerson. When you're talking generational, you're talking about a different type of running back. You're talking about the type of running back that you could put him on any team, any generation. He would be absolutely dominant. There are not a lot of those guys out there. We got to be real careful throwing that kind of stuff around. I don't know necessarily what Ashton Jeanty is going to be. I'm just telling us. Y'all tell me what you think. I'm going to go down here in the chat. Y'all tell me what you think. If the Cowboys can get Myles Garrett by trading the 12th pick to the Cleveland Browns for Myles Garrett, would you be willing to take that? Y'all tell me. I'm going to let y'all catch up in the chat. Would y'all be willing to take that? Woo! Hey, I didn't want to mention that. That might offend some people. But, hey, man, let me tell you something, hey. Let me tell you something. People do not understand how good Orenthal James Simpson was. O.J. Simpson was all world at running back. This man got 2,000 yards in 12 games. I think it was 12. If I'm not mistaken, was it 12 or 14? They might have moved. Let's see. Y'all tell me in the chat, but I'm thinking that O.J. Simpson's 2,000 yard season, I thought he did it in 12. $14. Okay, it was 14 games. Because Eric Dickerson did it in 2 more games. Okay, so in 14 games, Orenthal James Simpson ran for 2,000 yards. This dude was crazy. So when you start talking about generational running backs, that ain't something you need to be throwing. People don't understand, man. You don't throw that around like, hey, man, he's going to be a generational running back. What's the indicator? Because we've seen other good and to great running backs come out of the league. Come into this league. So let's be careful when we're talking about a guy being a generational running back. We don't know that. I'm being honest with you. I don't think we know that yet about Ashton Jeanty. I think Zeke was not generational. Zeke was not generational. Zeke was good for about what, 2, 3? No, generational running backs aren't good for 2 or 3 seasons. Generational running backs, they're good in any era. Jim Brown. I'm telling us, Jim Brown was generational. Walter Payton, generational. Walter Payton was absolutely sick. Generational. Guys like Franco Harris, Tony Dorsett, these are generational running backs. Zeke, not generational. Doesn't mean that Zeke wasn't absolutely dominant for 2 or 3 seasons. Nah, Zeke's not generational. Eric Dickerson. Boy, let me tell y'all, man, anybody who ever watched Eric Dickerson run, I don't think there's ever been a sweeter runner in the NFL than Eric Dickerson. Man, once Eric Dickerson hit that hole, made that move, and then he got that, man, Eric Dickerson ran so sweet, it was crazy. That's generational. We're not talking about a guy who comes out here and in 2 or 3 years you go, oh, wow. Hey, who is this in here? Delta Roots. Man, if you talking about Adrian Peterson, generational. This dude tore his knee Came back 6 months later, had a 2,000-yard season. Yeah, AP was generational. Yeah, Jay Recruiter, exactly, for a minute. Yeah, not generational as in what you consider a generational back. Zeke for about, 2 seasons maybe? I kind of put him in that category of Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis for about 3 seasons? Terrell Davis for about 3 seasons was the best running back that some people had ever seen in their life. For about 3 seasons. Very injury. But when you're talking about generational, no, these guys lasted for years. Generational guys last for years, man. This guy was generational. And I'm not sure if he's generational. Philly D, see, that's what I'm saying. You build around the quarterback. You don't let him be Superman. That's it. I've been saying it, Blue Star, all by himself. Cowboys are winning championship games as a team, not as a one-person game. No, we got to stop. You're right, Blue Star. We got to stop asking Dak Prescott to be Superman. How about we let him be Dak Prescott? How about we let him be Dak Prescott? Excuse me. How about we stop trying to let him throw it all over the park like he's Dan Marino? Okay, we know Dak Prescott can throw the ball. Okay, great. Enough of this. Turn him back into what he is, a play-action quarterback. Let's turn him back into what he is. But again, y'all tell me what you think about this thing with Myles Garrett, because I don't think Ashton Jeanty is – I don't know. I don't know if Ashton Jeanty, especially playing for Boise State in the competition he played against. I'm just saying what he looked like against Penn State. I was just kind of like, I'm not sure he's generational yet. I know what people are saying. He got some generational numbers, but I'm also looking at the competition. Woo, boy, you better stop, Jay Recruiter. You better stop. Earl Campbell. Yes, sir. Definitely generational. Chad Wilson. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm not ready to go there with Saquon Barkley. He was. Now, at Penn State, Saquon Barkley was a serious problem because the same thing we're seeing from him now in the pros, he was doing that same stuff at Penn State. Man, you'd watch these Penn State games and you'd be watching Saquon Barkley. You'd be like, man, what are they talking about, this dude, Saquon Barkley? I mean, he getting 2 yards, 3 yards, maybe 10. And then all of a sudden, boom, hit you for 60. Boom, hit you for 65. Saquon Barkley was a problem at Penn State. I'm not ready to go there with him right now. I got to see more. I need to see a little bit more. Let me read a super chat and I'm going to come back down here where y'all are. Johnny Blue, did you mention Emmitt Smith? Yes, sir, I did. Emmitt Smith is generational. He's not, and Emmitt is you think about Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, we didn't know he was generational until he played. We really didn't know. But then as he kept playing and playing and playing, we're like, man, yeah, this dude Emmitt is good. He's great. Emmitt had a great line, but he was a great back too. Jay Recruiter, we're going to see, because they might not have to try and keep Trey Lance. That free agency market for quarterbacks look pretty good. But I'll be honest with you, Jay Recruiter. If I'm a team, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, for example, I'd bring in Trey Lance. I wouldn't spend money on a quarterback. I'd bring in Trey Lance. I'd see what Trey Lance is. What do you got to lose? You mess around and trade Myles Garrett, well, you already talking about you ready to start rebuilding. I'd bring in Trey Lance to see what he do. If I was the Las Vegas Raiders, I would kick the tires on Trey Lance. I would. There are some teams that seriously ought to consider going and talking to their ownership and saying, can we try out Trey Lance for a couple of seasons without me as the head coach getting fired? I want to see if we can turn this dude into what everybody thought he was. Trey Lance has a lot of attributes that teams would probably want. He's got the height, he's got the size, he's got enough speed, he's got the arm. Trey Lance has a lot of things that a team that's rebuilding should want. But again, y'all let me know. I don't think Ashton Jeanty can yet be called generational. And I know there are people that are calling for him. But I'll tell you this. If you're telling me that the Cowboys are going to get Myles Garrett, and then we're going to get Omarion Hampton in the second, we're going to get a wide receiver in the third, or we got another plan. Maybe the Cowboys pop off and surprise us. Maybe they pop off and surprise us. And I'm not sure they're going to surprise us like this. But maybe they pop off and surprise us. Let's go back up here. There are, and I shouldn't say there is one wide receiver, and only one, that the Cowboys would get this wide receiver. He would be the only receiver I would excuse the Dallas Cowboys to not get a wide receiver in the second or the third. There's only one free agent wide receiver that I am going to accept. And it is this kid right here. T. Higgins. If the Cowboys go and get T. Higgins, if the Cowboys get T. Higgins in free agency, I would excuse, not that I'm in charge of the Cowboys, but if the Cowboys get T. Higgins in free agency, I'm done. Hey, you don't have to get a wide receiver if you get T. Higgins in free agency. You don't have to get a wide receiver. I'm good. I'm good if you get T. Higgins. You get Cooper Kupp, I want you to get a wide receiver in the draft, and he needs to be in the second or the third. But if you get T. Higgins, wide receiver, we got it. We're covered. We're covered at wide receiver. If you want to play around back there with one of them 9 or 10th picks and get your wide receivers, it's fine. But I wouldn't even do that. There'll be a lot of great undrafted players at the end of the draft. You could probably go in there. You already got Jonathan Mingo. We need to see what he is. We got Ryan Flanoy. I think he's going to be great. You have Jalen Tolbert if you want to play one more year with that experiment. But if they go get T. Higgins, I would say, okay, I'm fine. T. Higgins is a big-bodied, fast, hands receiver. I would be cool if the Cowboys got him. And then it would even make more sense to me. Y'all tell me what you think. It would make even more sense to me for the Cowboys to go and say, okay, since we got T. Higgins in free agency, we don't have to worry about wide receiver at least this year. Okay, we're going to sign T. Higgins for what? 3-4 years. We got to see what Mingo's going to be. We got Flanoy. We got Tolbert. Kevontae Turpin's our fourth. No matter what anyone does, I think we're great at wide receiver. Y'all tell me what you think. But I believe if the Cowboys have the opportunity, I just don't think if you got the opportunity to get Myles Garrett and you're going to be able to keep, and you're going to be able to keep Micah Parsons, whoo, man. Hey, I'm still curious about Deuce Vaughn. I don't think Deuce Vaughn's going to be a major player on this team in the next couple of years. But we're going to see. Get this O-line right. I'll help any. Angie said I'll take any running back. I think they're going to get the O-line right because I think the O-line is right here. Dak owns filthy says Barkley has to play more football. He's been on the bench a lot until this year. Yeah, that's why I say I can't yet go there with him being generational. Nisi said, I would take the deal. Get Myles, sign Michael, and get a defensive tackle in free agency. Man, Nisi. Whew. If this team could get Myles Garrett, and I'm telling you, as much as Michael Parsons run his mouth, I think a player like Myles Garrett will not only help Michael Parsons, I think he'll humble Michael Parsons. Because he's such a nasty, dominant edge rusher. I mean, size, speed. Oh, man. If you could get him, if you could get both of them, yes, get Miles, sign Michael, and get a defense. Yes, get him in free agency. I wouldn't even be opposed. And you know what? You don't even have to go and get a top flight defensive tackle. Still go get you one in the draft. I'm telling us. T. Higgins could open up even more draft capital. Because to me, T. Higgins says, let's make a run at Myles Garrett. Let's get Omarion Hampton in the second round. Let's give Cleveland the 12th. Let's give it to him. Let's get Myles Garrett. Michael said he'll take less. Let's see how low he's willing to go to get Myles Garrett. Let's see if Cleveland will eat some of the money for Myles Garrett maybe. Let's see what can we do to get both of these players on this team. What can we do? So if we're willing, so if we say Oso Digizua, we're going to let him ride, then we let Oso Digizua ride because now, man, we got two edge rushers going to be crazy. Now all we got to do, fill the middle. Get one in free agency. And if you have to, get one in the draft. But I'm telling you, this right here does not bother me in the least bit if the Cowboys were to trade that and get. Now, he's saying the Cowboys would trade 2 first-rounders. Now, I'm going to tell you why I'm not opposed to this. Even though if it was me, I wouldn't give up the first round. I would see if I could get away with Cleveland a first and a second round next year. I try to get away with a second. I wouldn't be opposed to giving Cleveland a second. I want to keep my first. I wouldn't be opposed to giving them a second. Why? Because you don't need a quarterback. The Cowboys don't need a quarterback until 2027. So in these first two, this season and 2026, I'm not going to trip as hard on a first-round draft pick because the only thing we're talking about getting in those first rounds anyway, or either is in the first round, is Ashton Jeanty. I'm sorry. I do not think the drop-off. I don't think you're dropping off a cliff if you go to Hampton. I don't think you're dropping off a cliff. Some people don't think you're dropping off a cliff if you get Caleb Johnson. Some people think Caleb Johnson is going to be him too. But the issue is, y'all, I don't think you can lose. How do you lose with this lineup? You're going to be able to get one of these. Jeanty, Hampton, Johnson. I'm actually going for the Ohio State kids. Trevor Henderson, preferably Quinshon Judkins. Dylan Sampson, though. I mean, he's a 4-3 running back. A little light in the pocket, but he's a 4-3 running back. Devin Neal for Kentucky. Not sleeping on this kid. It's funny that Scatterbo is moving up. I'm not probably going with Scatterbo, but I like this kid right here from SMU. Brashard Smith, 4'4", 5'10". I like this kid. Jordan James from Oregon. Take him in a heartbeat. The Cowboys are going to have options, and they will still be great, even if they don't get Ashton Jeanty. Even if they don't get Ashton Jeanty. I think they strongly have to consider it. And I'll tell you something even crazier. Some are saying the Cowboys could bypass Jeanty at the 12th and move backwards and get Jeanty further back. But I think if you pass up on Jeanty, if he's there at 12 and you pass up on him and you do the Myles Garrett thing, you might as well start looking beyond Ashton Jeanty because he won't make it past the top 20. Once the Cowboys get rid of that first round, he will not get past the top 20. But I'm not going to look back if I got Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons. I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back, y'all. I'm like, wait a minute. We got our D-line we're about to get what we want. A D-line that can rush 4. All we got to do now is get the tackles. I go in free agency. I go in free agency in a heartbeat and get me one. The Cowboys can do some things if they play their free agent game right. If they play their free agency game right. Alex said, gee, Penn State's whole job was to stop Jeanty because that's all boys he had. And they did. You know what? I still got to wait and see on him. But I'll say this. If I can get Myles Garrett, defense wins championships. If I can get Myles Garrett, I'm taking Myles Garrett and I'm going with one of these other guys in the second round. I just think it makes so much sense. Woo, Kitty boy, man, let me not commit blasphemy. Derrick Henry's generational, no doubt. Bo Jackson, generational, no doubt. Yes, sir. 2018 Zeke coming to the Cowboys, short of Seahawks. Zeke, yeah. Zeke was generational for a minute. Just a minute, though. The problem is with him, and I'm going to tell you what I think happened to Zeke. Zeke just didn't take care of his body. I can remember Zeke. The build-up for Ezekiel Elliott being the running back for the Cowboys was like no other. I can remember Zeke getting the special-made shirts that was showing. I mean, I remember him wearing a suit. And Zeke was showing his abs. Zeke was different, man. Zeke was different. Zeke was different when he first came to the Cowboys. Let me see if I can find that picture. Zeke was different, man. When he first came to the Cowboys, man, Zeke was different, man. That boy Zeke was different. Let me pull this picture up. See, this the Zeke y'all talking about right here. This the Zeke y'all talking about. Now this Zeke right here was generational. That Zeke that went to Cabo was no longer generational. This Zeke right here was generational. Zeke did not take care of his body. He didn't. And I think one of the problems with Zeke, he liked to smoke that. It's just the fact. He likes to smoke. And he doesn't take care of his body. Man, this dude, not Michael Parsons. This dude, Derrick Henry, you want to see what taking care of your body look like? Derrick Henry's serious with it. Derrick Henry is serious about how he works out. He's serious about what he puts in his body. But Zeke blew a golden opportunity because Zeke was a special running back. He was. But when you talk about generational running backs, they last a generation in a sense too, or they're so dominant. Zeke was not utterly dominant for 3 years. He was dominant for 1 to 2 years, but not 3. Let me go to these super chats here. Delta Roots. Yes, sir. I mentioned him the other night. I would get Nick Chubb. I would love for the Cowboys to get Nick Chubb and still get Omarion in the second. Yes, sir. I'm with you. 1,000%. 1,000%. Johnny Blue, he says, hold on. Tyler Guyton held his own against Garrett in the first game. Only let the quarterback pressure on 1 sack. I think. Now, let me tell you why that worked. I want you to think about Myles Garrett game. Myles Garrett game is a power game. Guyton's a powerful kid. There is no doubt about it. Guyton can hold his own against power rushes. You're not just going to run into him, knock him over. You know what kept getting Guyton? When they would dip him in and go out. Dip him out and go in. Stutter step. His feet were not quick enough. That's what was getting Guyton. It's not the power of Guyton that was a problem for him. It's the skill. And let me tell you, y'all already know this. Left tackle, that's a hard job in the NFL. Left tackle, man, is a hard job. Quick feet, quick hands, highly skilled. That is a heck of a job to have in the NFL. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not for the faint of heart. Angie, I'm with you. We should have got Henry. Oh, just did you see how he did seatbelt? Yeah, I wish we'd have got Derrick Henry. He's definitely generational. I think he still wants to come to the Cowboys. I just don't think, and we're going to see what happens because I want to see if they're going to rework that deal, Angie. I want to see if they're going to work that deal. Yeah, they did okay once they started using play action, but it wasn't enough. We're going to see something with the Cowboys. I mean, The key for them, of course, they're going to have to get the line, and I think the line is already there. I think they still need to get that piece in free agency. But the line, I think, is going to be fine. They just need to make sure where they are on running back. But I'll tell you this. I'm telling you, this Trey Lance thing that this guy's talking about, man, whoo, this Trey Lance thing, let me go back to what he said. I mean, this Trey Lance thing to me, man. Let me tell you something. The Joneses could actually do two things that would really go a long way with this fan base. Ashton Jeanty, I think the fan base would be happy. But if they trade the first pick and get Myles Garrett, this fan base will explode. Not only will the fan base explode, the NFL will be on notice. Cowboys are serious. The Cowboys are dead serious. And I do think, I heard Michael Irvin been going off, man. I'm going to see if I can pull up the video and do a video on it. Boy, this dude, Michael Irvin, is hot. Because it seems that there has been language of people saying that the Cowboys don't want T. Higgins. Boy, Michael Irvin is hot. I'm hot too. I'm sorry, if the Cowboys can get T. Higgins, man, get T. Higgins. T. Higgins, what rookie wide receiver? To me, other than McMillan, what rookie wide receiver is going to come in and do better than T. Higgins? Now, McMillan to me is a special kind of talent. Kid, 6'5", hands, speed. I'm getting McMillan if I could get him. But other than him, I'm taking T. Higgins over anybody I can get in the draft. And I'm signing T. Higgins to 3-year deal easy. 3-year deal easy. The Cowboys got options. They got options that they'll take advantage of them. Yeah, they got options if they'll take advantage of them. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I got that last super chat. Yeah, I'm telling us, the Cowboys got options if they'll take advantage of it. They do. They have options. And there are so many combinations of things. And I'm going to put this link in the chat. Y'all can go check it out. I think it's very interesting what they have in here. They have additional. Let's look at a couple of the other ones. This guy, he's one of the only guys that is saying this about trading. I think he's the only guy that's talking about this. But I'll be honest with you, I just think it's something the Cowboys really ought to consider. Now, if you look at everyone else, I think for the most part, everybody continues to think that the Cowboys. Now, let me show you. This one right here, let me tell y'all something. I wish. This is another one. I wouldn't be mad if this happened either. Let me see where they got Ashton Jeanty going. Okay, so they're saying that Jeanty is going to pick up Russell Wilson or Sam Darnold, which makes sense. They would get Russell Wilson, so they wouldn't need a quarterback, so they would get Ashton Jeanty. And then because they're not doing that, then they're saying that the Cowboys would get McMillan. Oh, man. I'm just going to tell you, I would not be mad at this either. This kid to me is special. 6'5" frame, long stride, strong hands. Woo, boy, this guy right here. Man, you want to talk about throwing them corner fade routes? Oh, man. I would not be mad if the Cowboys could get this dude McMillan. I don't think this is going to happen because I just can't see all these other teams. And I'm going to tell you the guy that's really got me kind of tripping. And let me see where he is. It's the Bears. The Bears ownership are going to have to talk Ben Johnson into some of these picks that I've been seeing them put up here for Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson wants skill players. I mean, if you're an offensive coordinator, if you're smart, I guess you say I want to get my line built. But, man, these offensive coordinators, they want toys, man. They want toys. And McMillan, man, this dude's a special kid. I'm sorry, I had to take McMillan, but they keep, it seemed like to me, they keep having the Chicago Bears, and I understand why they're saying this, because Caleb Williams won't last another year if they don't build a lineup. Caleb Williams is going to be murdered, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but they're going to hurt that kid if they don't go ahead and get him a line. Caleb Williams needs a line bad, absolutely bad. Rhonda, Irvin is so passionate. I wish he could be our coach. Woo, you too? Man, Irvin said he don't have time to spend his brain on dumb ish. That's what he said. He said, and to not get T. Higgins, he said that is dumb ish. Boy, he is mad about that T. Higgins thing. That joke is mad about that T. Higgins. And I'm telling you, I would definitely get T. Higgins. I'm awake, are you? Higgins is way too expensive. We're going to see. I don't know what his projected salary is. I'm awake. I don't know what it is, but I'm with you. I'm pretty sure he's going to be expensive. But if they could get him at a reasonable price, man, I'm getting T. Higgins. I would definitely bring in T. Higgins. Because you got to think, I don't know if T. Higgins, you think about it, T. Higgins, he's not going to bring in, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase type money. But T. Higgins might be one of them $25 million a year wide receivers. And the Cowboys, that might be a little too strong for the blood. Damon said, I bet you Cooper Sippy Cup is I know. Everybody keep talking about that coach from Oregon. Because of that one coach we hired, connected dots. I know everybody been saying it. Everybody's been saying that Cooper Kupp. Now, if they get Cooper Kupp, they got to get a wide receiver in the draft. I can't deal with them not getting a wide receiver in the draft because Cooper Kupp has been a little bit injured here in the last part. He's been a little bit injured. Let me see here. Skull says Kupp is best when he's healthy. He's a beast when he's healthy. He is. I'll give it to you. Genty is going to the Raiders or the Panthers. Yeah, I just can't. You know what? I'm just being honest with you. I'm awake. I don't see him making it to 12. It would be crazy to me if Ashton Genty made it to 12. If he makes it to 12, I'm happy. But I don't think he makes it to 12. I don't think he makes it to 12. And if I'm the Cowboys, man, if this Myles Garrett trade comes up at number 12, man, the Cowboys got to do it. Oh, Freddie said, hell, Michael just mad because he can't share. He's below with Dion. His below with Dion, and now that boy's hired Shotty. Man, I'm telling you, if I can get this thing with Myles Garrett, I got to do it. Damon, I'm actually surprised that Sean Lee isn't in coaching yet. I'm surprised that he isn't in coaching. I'm not sure. And Michael Irvin. Now, the problem is with Michael Irvin, once they start getting that TV money, they'll have to take a pay cut to come and do this stuff for the Cowboys. Charles Haley and DeMarcus Ware. I think Charles Haley kind of hangs around the facility, but I would love to see DeMarcus Ware with a job for the Cowboys. You remember that throw that rocket bombed to T.Y. Hilton on 3rd and 30 against the Eagles? Gee, sheesh, these players catches we need this team. Man, I'm telling you, I would love to get T. Higgins. I would. Oh, you said T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, I remember that. Against the Eagles. Yes, sir. And then we persisted not to use T.Y. Hilton no more. I don't even understand it. I'm back. I'm back. Kupp is a poor man's lamb. Need that Irvin outside threat. Yes, sir. And that's why I said if we got Cooper Kupp, still got to go in that draft and get somebody. For sure. Angie said, "Bama boy." She's yeah, them Bama boy. Hey, they put together some great wide receivers. Let me see here. Skull said Kupp isn't poor. Kupp destroyed league best wide receiver season. If Kupp can stay healthy, he'll be great. My problem with Kupp is I'm questioning can he stay healthy. Blue Star said also if the pass is not there, don't force it to Lamb. Yep, and that's why they got to get Dak Prescott that second receiver. They got to get him that second receiver. And I'm glad. I hope Brian Schottenheimer do not throw the ball. Do not throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb unless he's open. Kupp is the same style as Lamb. Yeah, Dallas needs an outside threat. Oh, I can see what you're saying there. Yeah, you're saying they're the same type of receiver. Wild Boy Trey, what's going on? Cooper Kupp, and Tez Johnson. our new wide receiver core. Okay, Tiz Johnson. He'll hook me up. All right, let's see here. Oh, yeah, man, you know what? Everybody keep talking about the Luther Burden kid. Okay, what's the kid from TCU? Everybody keep talking about the kid from TCU also. A lot of people been talking about the TCU wide receiver in the draft. I forgot his name. Y'all throw his name out to me. Some of y'all have already been talking about him. We'll see what happens with that. AJ Medell says, we need a wide receiver. Yep. Running back. Yep. In the first 3 rounds, no doubt. And best defensive player with either the second or the third. That's exactly what I got him doing too. But if you can get that trade, Myles Garrett takes care of the defense in spades. You can dedicate the 2 and the 3 to the running back and the wide receiver, and you be set. But if they do something with the wide receiver like T. Higgins, which I'm awake is probably right on the price, but if they could do something in free agency as it pertains to one of those skill positions and then get the running back, then you could go 2 defensive positions in the top 2 rounds. Bring T.Y. Hilton in for a cup of coffee. Man, I don't even think, man, I bet you Hilton ain't touched the football in so long. What about the wide receiver from the 49ers? He's up for trade. Oh, yeah, Debo. Yeah. Now, Debo is a different type of wide receiver. Debo, to me, is a wide receiver that you're saying run after the catch. He's not going to be necessarily the deep threat that you want to take the top off of a defense. The Cowboys need more than Kevontae Turpin. While I like Kevontae Turpin, we watched him this season. Kevontae Turpin dropped a couple of passes I can remember that when they were throwing it to him deep, he dropped it. I think Kevontae Turpin is better served when you get him the ball in space and then you let him do the rest. So the Cowboys need to get a big-time wide receiver on that outside that can really take the top off of a defense. Alex said, I've said before, if we don't get Genty, let's get the best wide receiver on the board. No problem. We can't lose in this draft. And I'll tell you this, if the Cowboys don't do Myles Garrett, if Genty is gone, I really got to do some research. I'm probably going to trade backwards because I want to see where is Hampton projected to go and where is Igbuka from Ohio State. Where are those 2 players projected to go? Because I want to position myself to get them while at the same time getting myself some more draft capital. Nisi said G Cup would be perfect for us. Steven loves injury. Steven loves injury-prone players. Now, Nisi, you know you said that, but I know you for real. And the reason why he loved them injury-prone players in some respects is that he thinks he can get them cheap. He knows he can get them cheap. Philly D, quarterback best friend is outside threat, will be caught but not picked if a meltdown happens. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Philly. I would love to get a big-time wide receiver out there. And that's one of the reasons why if the Cowboys don't get T. Higgins, they got to go wide receiver in the first or the second. And I know McMillan is not going to be there. So it would have to be running back first for me. And then I would get the wide receiver Igbuka in the second round if he's there. I would love to see Dak, Lamb, and Higgins. Woo, man, yes. Man, boy, I'm telling you, Blue Stars, let's speak it into existence. Boy, that would be crazy. Bring back Noah Brown. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you on him. Alex said, I've seen a lot of content creators getting defensive players in the first few rounds. Your thoughts? No. One of the things the Cowboys did in the 2023 season, I think it would behoove them to do again. Put yourself in position to outscore teams. Put yourself in position to outscore teams. Nah, I'm not trying to go defense. Not in the first 2 rounds. I don't want no part of defense in the first 2 rounds. If you want to go defense, 3, 5, 6, go. Hey, as long as you get me my running back, my wide receiver, get me a left tackle in free agency, maybe get me another running back in free agency, You can have the whole rest of the draft for defense. No, we need skill positions because if you notice, whenever we draft those skill positions in the top couple of rounds, I mean, they paid dividends. They paid dividends. No, we got to get a wide receiver. I can't do it, Alex. I can't do it. Angie, this man, Michael Gallup, is getting paid off the Cowboys. You ain't lying. He needs to come out of retirement. I wish he'd come out of retirement and let us get the rest of that money from him. That dude got paid from the Cowboys. Absolutely paid. Yeah, Debo's been injury prone. I agree with you there too. Jay Recruiter, appreciate that super chat. Jay Recruiter, $5 super chat. Myles Garrett is dominant like Aaron Donald. He doesn't get much hype because he's in Cleveland. Woo, man, let me tell you. I'm telling you, Jay Recruiter, if this man can be had for that first-round draft pick and you don't have to give up a whole lot more, I don't think I'd give up my first round in 2026 if they could take a second and maybe even eat a little bit of that contract. Oh, man. Yes, sir. I would have to take that Myles Garrett trade. All right, Cowboy fans. Man, I gotta get out of here. Did anybody do anything special for the significant other today? I gotta get in here and see about getting some dinner, getting some expensive takeout somewhere. I don't know about expensive, but getting some good takeout somewhere. Hey guys, we're gonna be back tomorrow. Again, become a member if you haven't. For sure tomorrow, y'all book it. I'm gonna put it on the thumbnail. Tomorrow will be the official start of the call-in show. And we're gonna start our call-in show. Our call-in show is going to start with our members. We're gonna give them first dibs at the call-in show. And then in the coming weeks, we're gonna open it up to everybody. But tomorrow, you're gonna get to hear from some of the members. Got about 17, if I'm not mistaken. Got about 17 members. All right, I got 19 members. That includes David J., Norman Andrews, Darren Posey, Tony Nichols, Lee Time, Big C from Tennessee, Bill Eccles, Robert M31, Angie Rebel Chicks, Alex, Showtime 53, Nisi, Roderick Terrell Holman, Michelle, I hope I pronounced it right, Pyatt, Michelle Pyatt, Victor Maldonado, Tired Cowboy Fan, No Cap, Philly D, Wilson Santiago. Let me make sure that's all of us. All right. I'll be getting the phone number out. If not tonight, I'll be getting the phone number out tomorrow. Y'all be on the lookout. It'll be a members-only post. And the whole show, I'm going to try to get all of the new members in. So y'all get ready for that. It's going to be exciting. Y'all will get to hear the voice of some of these people y'all see in the chat. You may have heard them in other places, but if you haven't, you'll be able to hear them here. So appreciate all the support you guys are giving being members, and you're going to get the benefits of being the members. Call-in show tomorrow. Again, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Let's keep building this community. Appreciate everything y'all doing. Until the next time, happy Valentine's Day. Let's talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Peace.